So it's supposed to be like 30 degrees tomorrow, and my roommate come and pulled me up today and asked me if I knew, and I was like, no. And he said, man, it's supposed to be 30. That's what the weatherman said. And I said, yeah. And he, he seemed to be, he's from Arkansas. I don't know what kind of weather they get out there, but I was like, yeah, I think it was 96. April's something in the middle part of the month. It was, uh, uh, it rained, sleeted, and snowed all in the exact same day. um, you know, I'm I'm used to the weather in Oklahoma kind of just being like you can almost tell like today it's been gloomy, so you know tomorrow it's probably going to be wet and or cold. But at any rate, it was kind of it was kind of humorous to see, or just to kind of hear the response. I was actually in the middle of something whenever he came in to the room. I was trying to get. So I have a property, and my son's mother and I. It's under our name, and so I'm trying to include her so that I can, get off the property and just kind of move forward with, the ministry. And talking to her, she said she was going to be available tomorrow, but when I tried to contact her earlier, she was at somebody's house who, in the past, it's been a problem. So I didn't know if that was going to make for problems tomorrow. So, I offered to have her, bring her over to my place, and just as far as logistics are concerned, take her with me tomorrow, and then drop her wherever she wants me to drop her. And so every time I made an open-ended statement or I asked a question, it was complete silence until I said something like, "Did you hear me?" And she either did hear me, or she didn't hear me. But if she did hear me, it was almost like I wasn't saying anything. So I asked my final question before the conversation came to an end, and I just waited, and several minutes went by. So she's like, "Are you there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, you didn't say anything." I said, "No, I did say something. You just haven't answered me yet." And so it leaves me to believe, just based on past experiences, that what is going to happen is tomorrow I'm going to be met with a lot of attempts to get her on board with something later. She's going to act as though it was somehow my fault that she didn't get what she needed. And so that would be, money, or that would be, making sure she got up. Because ultimately we're going to go get, we're going to get paid for, the property that we have in our name. And somehow it's going to be my fault whenever things don't, work out for her. And so I'm just, it's like you can't really prepare yourself enough for, that kind of stuff. But it's almost unsettling in a way, because no matter how hard you try, let's see, is it Hannah Tayo? Yeah, just no matter how hard you try, really to help in any situation when you're dealing with someone that's got other things going on, and that other stuff could look like a multitude of things. You know what I mean? It could just be mental health. It could be some kind of relationship issue that they're having, but it seems to be constant, and especially whenever you're dealing with folks that have had a history of certain types of mental health issues and or drug addictions, and so whenever you're looking at something that you have already seen before, anytime I text her, I can expect that my son's mother is not going to respond to me for 3 hours or 3 days. GTN, hi Hannah. Oh, y'all must know each other. GTN and Hannah, y'all know each other. But yeah, man, it's Jim. Hey, it's JIM, not GYM. GYM is the gymnasium. It's short for gymnasium. JIM is short for James or Jimmy. My granddad was a James Robert, and I'm a Jimmy Ray. So, hello. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm dealing with tonight, man. It's unsettling, and a lot of it really for me is just knowing that this is my son's mother, and I've dealt with this kind of stuff for her before. I feel for her because it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of improvement, and you want to see people do well, and you want to see people in any situation that's like hers, where she technically is homeless, and doesn't have a job and doesn't have the mental health. She just doesn't have the mental capacity really to function as some folks would have it. You know what I mean? And it's just hard. It's just hard. Hi, GTN. What's GT? Oh, GTN. Oh, that's what you were trying to say. GTN. Okay, I got you. I'm trying to I'm mediating y'all's conversation. Man, I should just shut up and just let y'all talk and read y'all's comments. That would be fun. I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, so hopefully tomorrow, and it's not like you making a whole lot of money off it. It's a tiny little property. It's just gotten to the point to where it's just really kind of out of my ability to really deal with it, because number one, I have, insofar as the ministry is concerned, I try to make myself available in every way I can there, but then also I'm disabled due to I have spinal issues, and I go to a spinal doctor this month, which they're probably just gonna punch a bunch of holes in my spine and filling up with steroids. I don't know, but then I have neuropathy, so I'm always in pain, and I don't have very good balance. And lately, my left leg, my left foot, I don't know if you've ever been on brand new carpet, but sometimes when you're walking across brand new carpet, your foot will kind of bounce because you're used to stepping on something lower, and so your foot will kind of skid, and you kind of trip up a little bit. Well, that's what my left foot's been doing a lot here lately, because the fiber optic lines in my brain, they're not making real good communication with my left leg, and so between the pain and just having some health issues, it's kind of creeping up on me. So I really just kind of do stuff that is more like bartering. It's not work per se, like money, but just do it for trade somehow. You know what I mean? That's just kind of, and Oklahoma has a poverty line of 21,700, and I can guarantee you that trading out work, trading out abilities, I'm not making any money doing that. But insofar as the ministry is concerned, I have seen some pretty cool things happen in the ministry, having helped create the Oklahoma Recovery Resource Network. There's been a lot of cool things that have happened in that, and someone not long ago, which is kind of common, but I guess you might just say every once in a while, people will say, well, why do you do it? If you're not getting paid to do it, why do you do it? And I always tell them, my response is Jesus. But the thing is that whenever things are kind of put in front of you, and you can accomplish whatever has been put in front of you, and it's really to help people improve, get sober, make it to church, whatever it is. I mean it's a good thing, and it's within biblical parameters, so I'm not in any strange violation there. So I could go on why I do it. Ultimately, I do enjoy helping folks, and oftentimes when we're doing things like this in the ministry, or people with rehabilitation issues and things like that, a lot of folks will say, it comes down to the person, and they've got to want it, and there is truth to that. Because even if a person is born again, they still foul up. They don't make a habit of it. But there's got to be some spirit-driven exercise on their part to maintain and sustain sobriety, a good state of mental health. It's not something that we can just, raise a hand, walk an aisle, pray a prayer, sign a card, get wet, and then just, all right, God, now what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like that's not getting saved. But at any rate, I do know that once I get my payment, I will head over to, I believe it's the court clerk. I know that when my son's mom had filed divorce, it was $250, but she never paid it, and I guess she thought I was going to, but I couldn't. So I'll probably go take care of that, so I don't run any more issues like this in the future, where it's like, well, both y'all's name is on. That way, we'll fix that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at today. So this weekend, I believe my roommate has us. He's gonna take us, brother Jim. Hey, what's up, DeAndre? There's a symphony orchestra playing at an old. I think the place place is like a Unitarian church, but it used to be a Methodist, which I'm not really sure the difference between Unitarianism and Methodism now. The building that we'll be going to has, I've been there before. There's an orchestra that had come in, and we got to see the was it Trans-Siberian, like the people play that kind of music. That was dope. That was dope. But then this past Saturday I wasn't able to make it because I was working with the guy that from the church that was trying to get this property. But this Saturday I'm hoping to make it. I always do recordings whenever I go see the orchestra, so I have a lot of fun. I just really the music kind of tells the story. You don't have to listen. Now, don't get me wrong, I like music that tells a story where there's actually singers, but I think it's interesting how, like, when you're just listening to the music, how it actually can train your brain to go for this walk. In some cases, a sprint. I find that pretty fascinating, and it's not the same for me listening to orchestra music on a radio, a stereo or something like that. It's so much different to me, being in the presence of the music when it's being played. And this isn't a really big. I mean, it's a huge building, but it's not like a packed out stadium somewhere. It's just a massive church building that's been there probably since the early inception of Oklahoma's downtown, whenever it was under industrialization kind of building. But so I kind of look forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. Just not looking forward to it like I am Saturday. Kind of like really a lot of mixed emotions, for me. Like my son's mom, insofar as some of her past issues with addiction and mental health and stuff like that, it was also other men, and so I've been married for a long time, and one thing that's always kind of kept me in a relationship was what Scripture says, and just because Scripture says, there's this loophole, Jim. She was, with other guys, and so that means you're not in violation. If you was to remarry and the person you remarry, they would be in violation. I understand that, but that doesn't mean I have to get a divorce. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to. It just means that there aren't any ramifications. But I knew going into getting married what it meant, and so there's where my reservations have been for a long time, almost 2 decades. But so yeah, there's that. I do know that I'm almost 50, be 48 this month, and as much as I don't really care to live by myself, I also don't want to live with a guy for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I'm going to live with a woman, I'm going to need to be married. So there's a lot of prayer, a lot of thought, and things like that. That they really had traffic like stopped up back there, and that guy could have easily gotten himself killed. Wow, that is a trip, man. This little area that I'm in over here in Oklahoma City on 23rd, 23rd all the way from the lake to the Capitol. It's pretty entertaining, full of excitement. Other fun phrases we can insert. But this little section right here, I always call it Little Mexico. And not everyone, it used to be, I guess, a lot of folks around this area were from Mexico. But I mean, you got Hondurans over here, you got now, but the traffic always reminds me of being in Mexico, but more specifically Mexico City, because you can have people driving the speed limit and there's other people walking, and I mean, someone could just, if the speed limit's 40, someone might just pull into the grocery store parking lot at 40 miles an hour and somehow slide safely into a parking spot. I don't know how they did it, but it happens. And no one got killed. Yeah, so it's pretty wild over here. I've recorded people before. I think I have one video on YouTube called The Conversation, and then there's another video on YouTube. I think it's called Street Preaching. You see a lot of that on just about every corner. If you drive up and down 23rd Street for an hour, let's say you drove up and down 23rd Street all day, time the sun came up till the time the sun went down, on every single corner, north, south, east, west, which is north and south, somewhere in that four corner section, you're gonna have somebody out at every mile marker, chopping it up with, I mean, we don't see anybody, but I dare say they don't see anybody, because if they say there's somebody there, there's somebody there. But you could probably see that I'm just trying to think of how many times in a day. I mean, it'd have to be hundreds of times if you were to drive that many times up and down the road a day, but at some point in time of the day, you're going to see at least, at every mile marker, at least one person at every single one of those stops. Sitting out there carrying on a conversation with whoever they're talking to that the rest of us cannot see. And there's one part of me that finds it sad, one part of me that finds it fascinating. There's another part of me that it's like, I've seen it so much now that I don't really laugh at it as much as I guess try to comfort my sadness, or I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like you laugh because you've seen it so much anymore that even though it still bothers you, laughing is the kind of the only thing that sort of makes you not feel bad that this person is, whatever state of mind they're in, to be out there on the street corner really in whatever multiverse they're in. So, that's 23rd. I live in the back a little ways off of 23rd on 29th Street. And, it's pretty nice. It's pretty chill where I'm at, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you what, you pull up out that neighborhood and all of a sudden it gets crunk. I mean, it's real quick. So, at any rate, folks, I gotta go in here and I gotta pick up my medication. I think I just scared this old lady over here. She's like, this dude's crazy, and he's getting out. So, anyways, I'll let y'all in a minute.